I do not really have the sort of lewd mind that would be necessary to tell this story effectively. Indecent mind. I did notice that Putin chose yesterday to make a stand on TikTok normalizing pornography. I think that dignified souls can rest assured that pornography is, in some ways, not surprising. But what the Zionists of Pittsburgh did, if it's not shocking, I feel that it should be. My father was a lieutenant in the Navy. I was a soft-spoken, thoughtful child who was subject to being a child of an alcoholic when my father deserted my mother. And we were moved into the vicinity of a warlord from Japan, an engineer named Jeff Thompson, working with a Japanese pornography ring directed by the Pittsburgh Zionist Army. They kidnapped me, they tortured me, they held me in traumatic coma, where they made illicit pornographic films of me. The Vipers will say that was a Freudian slip, that they made pornographic films for me. And the reason why they get away with that is that when I complained to King Crimson talked to Reagan and Trump and purported to pay me with a virgin. They dismembered me. They poisoned me in the mouth. They threatened me with many attacks and indecencies. As I say, they deafened me. They gave me Parkinson's. They put my heart into flutter. It was going 200 beats a second, or whatever, 200 beats a minute. I was in flutter. I was in the emergency room twice, and they committed chemical castration. In other words, they used me for bondage. With the help of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Pittsburgh Police Department, the Saddle Police Department, Sound Mental Health, the Abused Deaf Women's Advocacy Service, while making up deranged, untruthful innuendos and circulating them to create hate, to find someone, anyone, to lash out at me. And people lashed out at me who were total strangers for no reason again and again. And they did this indecent and immoral operation openly and in cold blood with the awareness and apparently the approval of several community colleges and universities. They knew that I was alone, and I have been alone now for 30 years. They knew that I was isolated, deaf, and very easily frightened because of all of the trauma that had been inflicted on me that I didn't know how to describe or explain. Slaughtering blows to the head. They bragged out loud and in public of dragging me through glass as a child. They laughed that I hid in my towel closet, but dared me to say that it was like Anne Frank so they could call down the custodians of cultural competence and accuse me of misappropriation. They tortured me over and over again. I was homeless for 2 years. They contaminated food that they gave me and made it impossible for me to think that I was safe in community services. They threatened to throw me back out into a tent if I dared to continue to describe what happened. They tortured me again and again and again and left me to rot in Section 8 loneliness. They did this to me because I was the son of a lieutenant of the CVL-30. The Zionists had a principle they described as the too good principle in the city of Pittsburgh. If you are too well established, you better watch out. It's sometimes called the Kennedy treatment or the Kennedy curse. And for nothing would they tell the truth about it. Lie after cowardly lie. The rabid animal, Peter Gabriel, lured me to West Virginia through Robert Fripp. Oh, you can verify it. It was Route 1, Box 279, Charlestown, West Virginia, 35414. Phone number 725 or 304-725-4437, I believe it was. And he interviewed me. I gave him a line to a poem, and he completed the line. He did the same thing on a song called That Voice Again. Anonymously, they were willing to hear that voice again. But they were never, ever willing to entertain the other side of their narrative. In their deranged, lawless, criminally insane storyline through which they poached me for Yoko Ono's revenge on my father's ship in the Navy with the help of a gang named Shiono, like Vengeance of Shiono. They ladled out lie after lie, and one of their most cruel and criminal lies was I was somehow responsible for what they claim is the death of John Lennon. Revolution Number 9 was a super production that went all the way back to the dawn of cinema with Gabriel D'Annunzio, worked its way through Bly Sanders, and fulfilled itself with the help of a double cross by Hitler Reagan. His attorneys had me in D.C. the day he claims he was shot. And just like Toon's little drama show on the day he claims he was shot, they now claim I did it to myself and it's worth a Van Gogh. Have some self-respect. Leave me in peace and pay me for my work and my injuries.